Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Xah Talk Show. Yay, I'm alive. So, obviously. And actually, I did another one today earlier, but it didn't come out. I did it for 20 minutes. So, there are people asking me when is my schedule for live stream. I don't have a plan. Hi, Jack. I don't have a plan for where I'm going to schedule because usually if I do plan, if I have a master plan, then usually it doesn't work out. But because I get nervous when there's expectation but I'm getting better because I have been doing videos for half a year now, so I'm improving my articulation, I'm improving my topics, I'm improving lots of things. And I'm also learning, the video streaming technology and stuff, the OBS, how to set up to YouTube and stuff. Like earlier today, I just did 20 minutes, and I, it's funny. I was smoking, and I did some music and stuff. That's very different, but uh, too bad that it wasn't being broadcasted. You know why? Because I got the key wrong. Anyway, when you do a YouTube streaming or other streaming, I suppose you need a key, and you need to put the key on the your streaming software. But I think it changes, like, now and then. I don't know how often. Hi, Jack. So do you have a question? So I'm going to talk about stuff. And not sure what to talk about. It's best when people are here and ask me questions. Okay, let's go to my Emacs blog. So, well, yeah, I was talking about smoking earlier today because I'm going to, I'm going to quit smoking. I started smoking like 6 years ago. Okay, random talk. KJ, hey guys, hey Richie, what's up? So have you been on my Xah Talk Show before? Well, the format here is you guys just ask any questions and I answer. It can be technical questions and it can be other things. By the way, Jack, do you smoke? Smoking is a stigma, in USA, in the rich, the countries, white people's countries, like New York and California. It wasn't always so, but it has become progressively so since in the 1990s. You then suddenly sometimes in the 1990s, then you cannot smoke in restaurant, which is kind of okay. You cannot smoke in restaurant, and then you have a special place in restaurant you can smoke. Then that is good. You cannot smoke in restaurant at all. Then they banned smoking in bars. That's it's kind of funny. Like you go to bars and you cannot smoke. What stupid thing that is. Then it's just getting progressively bad. However, the politics. So it's the lefties, the liberals. I have always been actually somewhat of a liberal and more of a libertarian. But today the politics has turned around completely. But in general, the liberals, they don't want you to smoke. They don't like cigarettes. However, they like, uh, marijuana. Smoking California Indian casino. Oh, you can do that. Oh yeah, I think so. Wait, oh yeah, you are in San Jose, right? Hey, cool. We should meet up sometimes. Uh, oh wow, man. Sometimes no one in. Oh yeah, sometimes a pack a week, Jack. A pack a week. Oh, that's not too much. But you are in China. I mean, you are a young guy. So anyway, my I never smoked before, and I don't like it. Okay, so when I was like 17, oh, Palm Springs is in where is that? Near Los Angeles. Hey, web dog, you are learning Vorak. Great, that's fantastic. Let me talk about smoking. So when I was like 17 or something, 16 in Montreal, Canada, and I was a rebel, kind of a rebel. So I smoked, and I was smoking, for like a year maybe, for a year. But then after that, I never smoked until maybe 6 years ago when I was 45. Why? 2 hours east. Okay, so because life is getting bad. Life when life is going down. I was going to be a mathematician and a millionaire and all that. Didn't happen. And I become so poor and life's bad. So I start to smoke. You know how people they cut themselves. There's typically females. Like sometimes you can see on the internet, like they like to cut themselves. So my smoking is like kind of like that. It's a gradual. It's a self destruction and gradually. But anyway, in the past a month or so, I've been smoking too much. So anyway, 2 years ago, I quit like completely, cold turkey. I quit. I don't think it's a problem for me to quit. Me smoking, it's it. I don't think I really have a physical or biological addiction, but rather it's more of a psychological addiction. So, what topic are we going to talk about today? So you are learning Vorak. So yeah, Vorak is great. I'm not sure what I'm gonna talk about, but I think I'm going to smoke on camera. Why not? Okay, let's do that. Oh, when I smoke, I need music. I need the dance pop and stuff, and chicks and stuff. All right, 7 people are watching. So, guys, keep the comments coming, okay? If you want me to talk about technical subjects, say so, Like everything I do is dependent on your comments. Like my life depends on your comments. Okay, let me get my lighter. So, for the past month I've been smoking too much because like 1 pack every 2 days and and yeah, and it's no good because you quit cold turkey. Oh well, 7 to 22 years old. How old are you now? Where are you located? Wave dog. So you see, this is I'm the cool dude. 25. 25 is great. Oh my God, you don't know how I wish to be 25. So I'm going to quit. Actually, I was planning to smoke on screen, and because then that's a good way for me to quit cigarette because I'm going to use this thing, vape. These young people started to do this vape thing. I think it's great because when I first tried this, it's so elegant because it's all electronics. It's all electronic because I'm a geek, right? I'm a nerd. I'm a programmer. I'm into computer science and artificial intelligence, all that. And so comparatively, and I'm into efficiency. Comparative. Actually, there's a lot of attraction about the good old cigarette as well because you know what? It's fire. You got fire here. Primitive. You got fire here. Very primitive. And sometimes you get tired of technology. The computers and stuff. Um, So it's very basic. It's the primitive, the essential, the essence of the human needs. But on the other hand, this is really elegant because the cigarette, you got the smell, and if you are a smoker, uh, okay, maybe not. Don't say the swear words because Google is going to ban me. Because so if you have a question, ask me. So I was saying this is attractive, but because it's primitive. Because, however, when I first use this is so elegant. Because when you smoke a cigarette, good old cigarette, it's burning stuff, and the burning, actually, the damage to your health is mostly due to burning. It burns and it creates some chemicals. And this electronic thing, this vape, actually, as far as I've read, it actually is harmless. I mean, well, I'm not gonna talk about the regressive liberals in California and New York's people. They, of course, they don't like it. They think, oh, this is another drug to the young kids. It's a bullshit. I'm gonna talk about. So anyway, when I was smoking this is so elegant. If you haven't seen it, if you guys haven't seen it, but you guys probably have seen, the young people all over. And some of them blow lots of smoke, like huge, like you can see on YouTube, and they blow like all kind of colors and rings. And it looks like they have a competition of that as well. And this thing has progressed so much that they have, it's liquid nicotine. They put nicotine as liquid, and when you suck on it, it turns on. There's a mechanism that turns on, and there's a battery inside. The battery burns the liquid, so the liquid evaporates. That's how it works. But this thing is like it's smellless. I mean, there's no smell. I mean, although you can see the smoke, but it's actually vapor. So, like, if you are not a smoker, you don't smell a thing. But with this cigarette, it burns, and if you are a smoker, people can smell it. People know far away from you from non-smokers. Yeah, vape is better, more longevity, but still addictive. Yeah, I guess, yeah, because nicotine is addictive. But if we are going to talk about the harmful effects, there is alcohol, there is weed. People are doing that, all over. So, especially the fake liberals. So I never smoked because since like 17 I never smoke, and I don't like to smoke because I'm a superhuman. I'm a superman. I'm going to be the greatest mathematician and also the greatest athlete, doing exports and all that, and everything. So smoking, I don't go for smoking. It doesn't do much to me. I mean, some people, I don't drink either, and actually I don't smoke anything else. I haven't used drugs except the weed, the marijuana, and maybe once every 20 years I've tried it, from friends. But yeah, smoking, I've been smoking too much, and it doesn't really do me much. I'm doing it because it's a self destruction. You know it's like those cutting themselves. So it's purely of that aspect. I kind of enjoy smoking. Yeah, San Francisco, the San Francisco people, the elite. I came to really hate them. This, especially in the past 2 years. This what's so called, regressive. It used to be progressive. Uh, uh, Richie. Wait, do, Richie, do you vape weed? That's the biggest plus. Yeah, the weed. I've tried it about like 3 years ago. I have a neighbor gave it to me. Apparently, some pure stuff. I have no idea what the I'm like not I'm not my it's not my lifestyle, so I don't know nothing about it. But anyway, he gave me smoke, and I was stoned. Things are literally swaying. I mean, really, and I became very paranoid. I was thinking, he's plotting on me. then, while I was stoned, I went to Wikipedia. I tried to read the effects of the marijuana because I was for sure, I was certain that he is he is plotting, something on me. Yeah, that's pretty wild. But in general, I don't like. I want my mind to be like always sharp. It's general. It's not my lifestyle. You see, because actually my lifestyle is like I'm ascetic. Okay, let me finish this one, and I'll type and show you. I hope I spelled that correctly. One of a friend, a white guy. One time, he's a philosopher. He told me. He says, you are ascetic, and I didn't realize. And I say, oh well, yeah, yeah. Actually, that's true. Uh, hey, break the loop. Where did it go wrong for you in your plan to become a millionaire? I never mentioned that. That went wrong long. Well, millionaire. When I was younger, like 18, 17. When I was a teen, I was very ambitious due to my dad. My dad is kind of my family is quite fucked. It's a problem family. My dad divorced my mom and remarried, and they have physical violence. And my dad is this is back in Taiwan. I was born in Taiwan. By the way, where did you grow up? In USA? Were you born in USA or in China or somewhere? So yeah, so my family is pretty bad. My dad is, you can, abusive. Actually America, the America, their mentality is all fucked up. It was, it's fucked up in the 90s when the conservative are like ruling everything. Um, and now it's far worse since the past few years because of the regressive liberals, the social justice gun. They, but anyway, in California, the mentality, it became so protective. Oh, child abuse. Like you cannot leave your child in a car, and you cannot leave dog in your car, and things like that. You know, uh, by this standard, by this California standard, then basically everyone in China or everyone in Taiwan is a criminal. That's true. You know, Actually, when at my era, when I was a child, beating your kid is like it's the right thing. It's common. It's normal. It's everyone does that. Majority of family. And But anyway, my family is quite fucked up. It's a special case. It's something. I it's not something I want to talk about. And But anyway, so I was ambitious and I wanted to. But anyway, when I was younger, I was the personality changes and things change. I mean, it's not well, it's just for me. I mean, there's different people, different environment, things happen. Actually, one thing I noticed is that things change. That's actually true for a lot of people. I mean, not necessarily personality, but fortune and stuff. Um, it happens to, let's say, significant percentage of population, the fortunes. Like many people, you can become so rich, during some period in your lifetime, and then you become like homeless. At one point, you are the king of the world, literally. During cultural revolution or during other, chaos in the world. Sometimes or French Revolution. One day you are the king, the next day you are, beheaded. But that's, I mean, besides that, it also happens in everyday life. You can see people like I've got a roommate. He supposedly, he's like 60 something, near 70. Supposedly he was very rich before. But anyway, the topic went. I did. So you were born in South Korea. Okay, great. Then moved to Seattle when I was 2 years old. Oh, great. Then grew up in Los Angeles. Cool. So anyway, what are we talking about? I feel like having another cigarette then. But my plan, I was planning to like go on smoking online here, so I can quit, because as some kind of token, oh my God, I'm smoking online. But anyway, the Californians, the white people, well, it is true. The white people, in general, they well, so what I mean the social justice gun, those people. Anyway, the California is like in the tech industries in general, we shun from smoking, right? All these rich, wealthy people, they tell people not to smoke. But and also 2 years ago, the California taxes. So before a pack of cigarette is like $6 in California. I mean, well, I don't know in Los Angeles, but in near San Francisco, in Mountain View here, it's $6. But 2 years ago, or 1 year and a half ago, it becomes like $8. And the reason, they think, they vote for that way because they think, oh, so it's more expensive, so less people will smoke. But actually, that's not true. The I was washing dishes in a restaurant, because so I was washing dishes. And when you wash dishes, when you are a programmer, you never all these programmers, fuckheads, you never be in contact with the actual blue label poor people. But because many of those people are not, they are not, some of them are not even literate. So anyway, I went to wash dishes. So I met, I know their lives. I met many of them. In fact, all my roommates are, work in the restaurant. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, you see, sometimes you go to the backside, you see the cooks, squatting over there smoking. That's what they are. They are, in many cases they are illiterate. I mean, they don't speak English. Okay, they speak maybe some. Depends on the people, but in general they do not speak much English. But more so, actually they are actually illiterate. They don't read Chinese. I mean, not absolutely, but a lot of them. So anyway, my roommates, they are they are blue collars. So that's they are those you see when you go to a Chinese restaurant. You go to the back and you see them squatting over there. That's how they are like. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So I was going to say, they smoke. They usually smoke. It's those people when you increase, money on cigarette. It's those people you hit. They are not going to quit. They are not going to quit. It's their life. They are not like sitting in the office, talking about, go to Starbucks and have a sip, talking about the world politics. Oh, this is bad. Oh, that is good. So that's the situation. And me too. I make like right now I make $1,000 a month. My rent here is $2,200 a month. And I don't have money, but anyway, so yeah, so I want to quit cigarette. Also the other thing is, in California, it's a stigma, so you don't talk about it, right? I don't want to talk about it. I wasn't, um, talking about it because, for example, for one reason, people say, oh, look at that guy, he's supposedly poor, but he's smoking. But yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, Danielle Langlois, I smoked cigarette for 15 years. Not too healthy. That's true. Uh, yeah, so let's talk about cigarette. There's another thing I want to say. The thing is, you see, the thing is, when you are doing fine and everything, you can look at things clearly and you can choose, whether you want to smoke or not. And maybe you got money and you smoke weeds. All the Hollywood stars, they do drugs, and it's their leisure activity. But for the poor people, it's not leisure activity. It's like their life is so bad. They like their smoking is their way out of to ease the pain. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so there's something I want to say, I forgot. Yeah, so smoking is a stigma in this liberal, California and New York. I didn't know anything about New York before because I never been there. But since 2016, since the Trump, got elected, since the mess, the social justice thing rose. So I read a lot. I spent like 30 minutes on average, statistically on average, I spent maybe 1 hour a day and reading about all these, eruptions of, angry social stuff. And I learned the New Yorkers are pretty bad. I don't want to be there. Fake. Oh yeah, my roommates smoke. Both of my roommates. Okay, it's I live with one, two, three, four roommates. And three of them are male. They are husband and wife. But anyway, so they except the youngest one who doesn't smoke, but both the others smoke. They work in restaurant. I am a very experienced programmer. Thank you. Well, not really, actually. There's a difference, because what I do, like you've seen on my website, and I know, it looks like I know all the languages. It is true, but actually, in terms of actually writing software, um, I'm not that good. Okay, writing software for yeah, because I write for the like all the the past 10 years. I study programming languages, which is completely different thing from uh, practitioner in programming. Well, I'm not saying one of them is better, okay, but what I'm saying is that if you are, let's say, average programmer, you work at some companies, even at Google or whatever, what you do every day is code, right? But in general, you don't actually know the programming language in detail. You don't like like it's safe to say, if anyone coded JavaScript for 5 years. I asked them a question, they can answer JavaScript. They and actually especially JavaScript, because JavaScript, the syntax and semantics is quite fucked up. It's very complex. So in fact, their code actually is just wrong. Even a loop, like often, it's just wrong. But it works. Then you got a team, a testing team. Then you got bugs fixing team, and so life goes on. So so that's the situation. The average programmers, especially JavaScript, they just write wrong. The code is just wrong, and also um, average programmer. Let's say good programmers. Let's say above average. Companies, those good ones. Let's say the top 30% of the good programmers in companies. They so they are good, and every day they just code. They can quickly. The key when you work in a company, typically what you want is quickly just churn out code that reasonably does the job. Satisfy whatever the job. Uh, and they are good. And but still they are not. It's different from studying or research on language or technology, or like when you work in a company, they are like 1,000 things, protocols, and spec protocols, languages, several languages, shell or whatever. uh, you can't know them, like you can't, like most of the time, most of them are just new to you. You just have to do it. You just have to, you maybe try to read some tutorial, and as soon as you know a little, you just code it, and that's done. You pass it on, and you don't have the mentality. You don't have the need or mentality to study anything in detail, and you don't have time because you got this project. Then push it out, and you got other things to do. You got meetings and so on. And maybe for some of them, maybe when you are off work, you try to study a little bit, maybe, or GitHub, try to write your own program. But in general, they it's not what they do. You're tired of it. You want to, you watch TV or something. On the other hand, like what the things I turned out to do, like study many languages, design issues in detail. That's quite different. So I'm going to smoke. So oh wow, I got 17 people watching. That's the most number of people watching. Is it because I'm smoking? So it's So let's see what conversation is going. So I'm just gonna keep smoking. I'm gonna smoke myself to death. What a fascinating concept, death. In New York City, it's almost $20 a pack. Yeah, I heard that. Okay, Richie says, yeah, one of my jobs in the next to one. Always see them smoking out back. The mom boss is always ripping someone, a new one, on the phone. What job? Are you a programmer? Webdog says, how am I making 1K in Mountain View? Because I don't work. Basically, that's why. Because I'm not actually working. I haven't been working for like 10 plus years. So I live a life. Well, I'm a ascetic. That's word. Or sometimes I think the right word to describe it is a monk, but not the typical monk you see in Shaolin or whatever. But I'm a digital monk. So in other words, my lifestyle is kind of like a monk. You live a very basic minimum life, no pleasure, and actually that in some that is not just because partly because I'm poor and I become that way, but also partly it's actually my personality because I um, ascetic, yeah, philosophically. They are like when you read history, there are many people who are like that. Some of the some famous people like Gandhi. That's a guy everyone knows. The Indian, and also Sun Yishan. Sun Yishan is a Chinese, what they call the Chinese father of modern China. There are others. They live a Spartan. What you call. So basically, no pleasure. No pleasure. Um, and somehow that somehow I'm like that. But I do that not for any. I'm not religious. So some people don't eat meat. Some people don't drink wine because religious reasons. Some people don't do this or that because of religion. But I'm not. I eat meat, any meat. I eat anything. I enjoy, going to the restaurant. Well, if you give me some food, I enjoy it. But however, I do not require it. Like typically I can eat. I Yeah, and also my diet is tends to be scientific. So I'm basically like the Borg race in Star Trek or Mr. Data. That's kind of I always looked at the Borg as the perfection. Of course, in Star Trek, they picture them as very ugly and nasty, and a threat to humanity. But however, the attraction about the Borg is not they being ugly or that kind of thing. The attraction of the Borg in Star Trek is that they are the kind of people, or race, the kind of people who focus purely on function, the concept, functionality. They say there's a function and form, right? So the Borg race is purely functional, function. You concentrate on function alone, and that's kind of my a lot of my preferences. If we get basic income, that's what I'm gonna doing. Yeah, but how you get basic income? I don't think that's. I don't think it'll happen. Well, and if it happened, the world is gonna be chaotic. It's like a power struggle. So okay, let me read back some of the comments. Let's see. No Java, I hate it. What's the worst programming job you've had? What is the worst programming job I've had? Well, the other video I talked about it, my programming experience. I don't remember if you are here or not. So essentially, I don't have much programming job experience, except back in about 1998 to 2002. So watch Andrew Young on Joe Rogan. Young Gan. Oh, what is that about? Andrew Young. No, I haven't. I don't know who that is. I'll check it out. Small business owner, janitorial. Oh, great. Business owner is always great. Hi, Yu Jiang Zhen. Zhen, is that right? Are you from China? Are you from China or USA? Whenever I see Chinese name, I usually ask them that because people, Chinese people in China and Chinese people in USA are very different. Well, the Chinese people who grew up in China and the Chinese people who grew up in USA, they are entirely different. The Chinese American born Chinese is basically American. They are thought everything is just, it's almost indistinguishable from white people. So hi, so what city? What city in China? Oh yeah, Data is also an interesting character. I was talking about that the other day, the schizoid. So my personality is schizoid. Now you can look up Wikipedia about schizoid. The full title is schizoid personality disorder. Now what that is basically the personality of loners. Now I'm going to say, I have a lot to say about Mr. Data. Mr. Data is a kind of a embodiment of schizoid personality. It's basically okay. Schizoid personality is a personality without emotions. Okay, in real life, I'm a schizoid. I'm a schizoid, but I'm a mild one. So I do have emotions, of course. But anyway, the schizoid type of people. Okay, let me tell you what it is. It's basically personality of loners. People who prefer to be alone, to do everything alone by themselves. And I'm kind of like that. And of course, they are typically introvert. But usually you cannot tell because in every other way they are normal. I mean, like a schizoid, like I am. I can. If I don't want you to know, you wouldn't know because like life is like I have full control of my emotions. Schizoid. If you read Wikipedia, you get a lot of information, and there are a lot of famous people who are also schizoid. They can also be actors, so they can give a talk. They can be a great presenter. But schizoid personality is a personality that they do not appreciate, they do not want, they do not value the interpersonal relationship. And okay, I'm gonna answer the questions, but let me finish about the schizo. So schizo personality, uh, you know, go read Wikipedia sometimes. Let me finish the smoke and I'll type and I'll go to Wikipedia and I'll show you. So schizo personality, it's a personality of loners, and there are many degrees of it as well. If you are, each of us have different personality, but if your personality is to such an extreme degree that you are unable to work in society, function in society, such as getting married, or find a job, or keep a long-term job, things like that, or relationships, then they call it a personality disorder. They add the disorder word to it. That's psychology, psychiatrists. That's their term. So anyway, schizoid personality is people who are loners, and they prefer to do things by themselves. They don't they don't typically they don't make friends like me. I don't make friends. It's not because I don't want to. It's not like yeah, not it's just naturally I don't you don't want to. It's a personality, like some personality, like some people are extrovert or whatever. It's just a preference. So you don't make friends. You end up not making friends. Like you don't make you can schizoid personality. You can work in a professional environment. You can work as a programmer or whatever jobs. You can. I think you can. I think there are even politicians who are schizoid, but rare, because to be a politician you need to be social. Typically, the people who enjoy social interactions or manipulating other people, they kind of thrive in the field of politics. But schizoid, you don't. Um, so what about yeah? So anyway, schizoid. So another thing about schizoid is like you don't have much emotions, or you don't emotions is not your thing, which applies to me very much. Like when I see, let's say some accident happens, online, some egregious, some bad things happens, and then most people, oh, we're gonna pray, oh, we gonna lit up candles. Most people, the majority of people, they are like that. Oh, they feel they need to then often many of them, they act emotionally, which is creates damage to the whole society. They become angry or whatever. But if you are a schizoid personality, you don't feel the emotion. Like Mr. Data, okay, you don't feel it. Okay, yeah, I know this is bad. I know many people died. I know. And you know okay, and we try to solve it. So what can we do to solve the problem, to prevent that from happening. So it's like Mr. Data. Okay, so when you see things, you don't get the emotions. You have like full control of your emotions. You don't get the it's not like you are helpless. Most people are helpless to emotions. It's interesting because humans are not like machines. If like a machine, you can say whatever to the machine. The machine is just a machine. They don't hear you. I mean, even if it has sound detectors, it doesn't do nothing to the machine. But for humans, you can say certain things, and you can damage, collapse the person. So that's what in large scale, that's psychological warfare. You and also, okay, between persons, you can say something to your partner, your wife or girlfriend or your husband. You say hurtful things, and the other person crumbles. But if you look at the whole thing from a physical point of view, it's just a bunch of sound waves, and you destroys the person. That's true. You could say something, hurt someone so bad, and they but typically that's so schizoid are not like that. Like you can say anything to me. I just perceive it. I perceive it, and I react accordingly by logic. So in Star Trek, there are several interesting characters that's kind of like attractive, especially to nerds. So nerds or programmers tends to be like that as well. So nerds, they are, I would say, more proportionally higher percentage of schizoid among the programmers or mathematicians. And also many mathematicians, they are kind of like you imagine mad scientists. They are kind of like that as well. Like Godel, the guy Gödel, who had Gödel's incompleteness theorem. So he's like that. So anyway, so back to the Star Trek schizoid. So schizoid, it's a character without emotions, but and often they also are asexual. Like, not me though. I'm very much into girls. Oh my god. But anyway, schizoid. Okay, so a lot of them are asexual. So like but anyway, one of their characteristics is that they don't have emotion, or they have like good control of their emotion. I mean, all this is just natural. Okay, it's not like I want to pretend to be someone or something. It's not like that. In fact, it's a situation that if I try, I really tried to make friends, establish relations. I can't, because like back in when I was in college, in Foothill College, I went to a Foothill Community College. I joined the swimming team. Swimming team. So I joined the swim team partly because I think I can talk to people more, have contact with more people. But it doesn't change a thing. I still don't make friends. It doesn't change. So anyway, the schizoid. Okay, so the cause of the schizoid. It's anyway. Let's not get into that. Basically, we don't know. There's no, and also all these so-called personality disorders. It's not really a disorder until you really cannot function in society. Then it's a disorder. For me, you could say I'm a normal. It depends on your point of view. If you look at me as someone very poor and haven't been working for 10 years, then you might say, yeah, you got a problem. But I'm here. I'm normal. I can talk about things. But anyway, so back to the Star Trek. So many of the characters, like the Vulcans, the Vulcan guy, peace and prosper. And Mr. Data. So they are kind of the incarnation of the idea, kind of like the schizoid. But what I want to say is that, a lot nerds or programmers, so you guys out there, you look at data and you wish, I want to be data. You don't. You don't want to be data. Because when you don't have emotions, like me, okay, I know it because I am a schizoid. When you don't have emotions and you are in a social situation, a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen, and not good for you, not positive for you. For example, in Star Trek, first of all, Star Trek is a show, right? Whatever they do, they have to make you have to like it. If you don't like it, you don't watch it, they don't have a show anymore. So whatever they do, even interesting ideas like Mr. Data or Spock or Romulans or whatever, they have to, or aliens, they have to like make it so that it appeal to you, so they cannot go pure. They cannot go hardcore. On the other hand, there's a hardcore science. I mean hardcore sci-fi, right? Star Trek is not the hardcore sci-fi. Hardcore sci-fi is more reality-based science fiction. It's still science fiction, but it's kind of more dry. While on the other hand, on Star Trek, you have aliens, you have wars, you have lasers or torpedoes. So, but anyway, Star Trek. So Mr. Data and Spock. So Mr. Data. So yeah, the Mr. Data character. They try to portray to you that okay, we have this character which is without emotion and who is trying to learn emotion. And sometimes some episode they will make it come out the problem of no emotion. Like for example, someone will make a joke, Counselor Troy or whatever, Counselor Troy, and they make a joke, but everyone is laughing, but Mr. Data is like, is that what human calls a joke? it's trying to convey to you the idea, so you have this android who don't understand emotion, and oh yeah, it's funny because he don't understand joke. In reality, if you are really schizoid like Mr. Data, it's not fun. People when everyone is laughing, you are not laughing. Something is wrong with you. They you know you know. So in general, the person, the schizoid is perceived by others as aloof and cold, emotionless. Aloof and cold and remote. So I get that, of course. People think I'm aloof, and also because of so I'm also ascetic, as I said before. So I don't, it's almost like I don't. It's almost like like I avoid pleasure, like intentionally, and a lot of people, that happens to me a lot, online or elsewhere. People start to like when they interact with me, they start to go FOMO, like they they become FOMO. I cannot blame them. Actually, that's not what I want. I mean, I want you to be whatever you are. I enjoy that the most. If you are, whatever characters, personality you have, if you interact with me, if you feel at ease, being yourself, then I actually enjoy that most. But a lot of time, people, when I interact, I notice, when I interact with people, they tend to become FOMO, like, and I guess I know why, because they observe, me, and that's how they respond. That's natural. Because they see me to be that way. Okay, so let's see what comments and questions. So we got 18 people, 16 people watching. So who are your people? Come out and say something. Zay in China. So great to see you in Beijing. Cool. So I suppose you knew me from Emacs. So you are Emacs user, right? Zheng Yuqiang. Zheng Yuqiang. So that's Chinese. Zheng Yuqiang. I can type. Li, you cannot spell Chinese pinyin. Well, Yuqiang. Yeah, because yeah, I'm not very familiar, but I can type. Let's see. I can type. Let's try. Let me try it. Let's see. Switch pinyin. Yeah. So this is how you type Chinese, guys. For those English watchers. So there are many input systems for typing Chinese. One of the most popular is called pinyin. Let me show you. So pinyin. So that's how you spell it in English. So pinyin system is a phonetic based system. So it's based on sound. So if I know how a Chinese sounds, I type it using English. Pinyin is based on English. So I type using the English alphabet. Then the input system will show me a bunch of choices, and I press space and enter. So for example, 中文. So there we have it. Enter. So back to the questions. So I'm reading some questions. Xah, would you be able to solve calculus problems these days? Yeah. Well, I'm rusty. I'm kind of rusty, but I've been reading math in the past 2 years. Oh yeah, I enjoy math so much, and this, yeah. But well, if you ask me a calculus, for example, if you give me a derivative, I can probably do it. If you give me an integral, no. Do you think China will overtake the U.S. as the biggest world power in the future? I don't know. I mean, it's who knows now. But what I'll say is this: is the social justice scan. If they keep going, it will happen. it's already pretty bad. The China, like when I read news today, every day it's China. They have the biggest bridge, they have the fastest computer, they have the highest, whatever the fastest train. They have the highest buildings. It's all in China, like almost everything, every day. And sometimes, I follow the Chinese. I started to follow some of the Chinese, Twitter account from China. They post all the city, pictures. It's just amazing. So much of it, but still, I mean, U.S. by as far as military power is concerned, U.S. is still quite far ahead. But however, in terms of technology, all the technologies, Chinese is pretty, well, first of all, economically, China, I think it's always already beat US, or was it second? I don't know. And US is like, own owe China, like in debt to China, billions of dollars or something. I don't know, but so yeah, China is. I mean, it's just like it's not. It's just I'm like I'm surprised by it, and also I feel good. I feel happy because I'm blood. I'm Chinese by blood. I'm a American citizen. Okay, for people who grew up in other countries, and like me, for example, and you are American. Your perspective, you get more different perspective than compared to, say, the white American who just grew up in USA. So for me, I have some connection because Chinese, that's my blood, that's my root. So I pay attention. I have some connection. I don't, I wish China doing well. Like, for example, my parents, they are Chinese, like 100% Chinese. But however, I grew up in America. I grew up in Canada and America, and when I was younger, I was always, I don't like the Chinese philosophy. That when I was younger, I'm always much more interested in Western philosophy. The logic, the Greeks, the Aristotle, the Greek, the concrete, the logical, the scientific way of thinking. Not these days. Not well. These days it's like mixed. But anyway, so I grew up. As when since I'm adult, I grew up in Montreal, Canada, and California. So although back in the days, like in the 90s, I always like despise, well, I don't despise, but I always make fun of American, like because America is like very a monoculture, what you might say. Even today, the social justice, they talk about multicultural, but their multicultural is like the American culture with funny hat and stuff. That's their concept of multicultural. But anyway, America is mostly monoculture. It's like, but anyway, I used to make fun, but still, I'm American, and I like America. This is my country, and technically as well. Um, so I don't want America to do bad. I want America. We are the most powerful. we we're gonna send you a few nukes. And free you guys. But still, yeah. So the best thing is world peace. It's like yeah, but that's getting complicated. Yeah, so because everyone wishes, of course, everyone wishes world peace. You wish world peace, but that doesn't happen just by wishing. Especially the social justice can fucks. They are incredibly evil, and not just like not just like maybe they are, maybe you don't know, maybe it's debatable, but they are absolutely, because these days you if you actually try to read the news, they lie, they clearly lie, they try to get money, they try to do lots of things. not something I really want to. That's not my main topic. But it's helpless. You have to, because it actually you have to talk about it. Okay, I don't know what you guys your political inclinations, but today it's so serious. Civil war is about to begin. It's already. It's not. It's already there. America. You have the divide, so you have to. You kind of have to pay attention. You want to try to see how to solve the problem. Try to talk to people on the other side. You want to try to do that because it's getting really bad. What do you think about the recent news that rich people paid money so their kids go to college? Yeah, that's a good example. This fucking Hollywood, rich white people. Oh, you Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is started by white lesbians. All they talk about all these things. But they are at the top and they are the most privileged. And they send, yeah, they bribe, millions. We talking about millions of dollars. They have so much money. Put a few millions to the Harvard or whatever Stanford, university. So they get their kids. They can, they are sent, Harvard to graduate. And these people, these days, these PhDs, even PhDs, they know nothing. Like not just in journalism. Okay, I don't know actually. I don't know about the sciences. Yeah, maybe in the sciences it's not true, but all the others like social degrees, these women's studies and stuff. I didn't intend to get into these topics because Google, soon people is gonna report me and I'll get banned. There's so many people get banned on YouTube to since beginning about almost a year ago. So Xah, do you think China will overtake? Okay, we talked about that. She's Greek. She's Greek. Who? Okay, I missed some questions. Okay, just here. Mathematica. Oh, Mathematica user, great. By the way, is that a legal copy? Well, because in China, many software is not legal. Back then, at least, I don't know what's the situation today. In China, do they still copy like I know AutoCAD, for example, like in China, it's kind of funny. Like in USA, you don't hear about AutoCAD that much. I mean, even among the 3D modeler people, I don't think you still, I don't, a lot of people use others. There are many, but in China, it's like everything. You almost hear everyone talking about AutoCAD. And even programmers, they talk about AutoCAD and AutoLisp. AutoLisp is a Lisp language, a Lisp dialect, a scripting language for AutoCAD. So in China, they will talk about that, and I was wondering, how come you guys all know, talking about AutoCAD? Why is that? Why is it so popular in China? And I realize it's because in China it's all copied. It's copied version, so everyone can get a copy free. And they teach in universities. I guess. Okay, I don't know if it's actually true, but that's my guess. Hey Gong Ba, we I'm just talking random stuff. Uh, and I know. Okay, so Zen says, and I know you when I search something about Mathematica. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, Liptot man. Who is they? Hello, counselor. Okay. Oh, the counselor Troy. Is that counselor Troy? That's the name. The character's name is Greek. Oh, I see. Yeah. In Brazil, everyone also gets a free copy. Oh, okay. Are you in Brazil? Matthew Sosa. It's trivial to keygen for Mathematica. Really? I always wondered, how they, these pirate people, how do they actually do it? Did you pirate Mathematica in early days? No, I didn't. I bought it. Back in the early days, 1992, I bought it, of course. I don't do, I don't do pirated. Yeah, I almost never. Well, basically never. I don't, so Mathematica, they have student version. So student, I don't know how much is it today, but student version is something like $200. But the professional, the professional version is like, it was 1,000 something. Maybe it's 2,000. I don't know how much. You have to check the website, but it's huge, like 1,000 or $2,000. But however, the student version, or hobbyist version. They have a hobbyist version, but all the versions are identical. So it's not like crippled. All the versions are identical. Uh, and by the way, if you buy a Raspberry Pi, Mathematica is included in it. So let's go to my website, xali.info. So if you're gonna buy it from my website, okay? I'm gonna show you where. So you go to my website, xali.info, and you go down, and here is I have some collection of articles about Mathematica. Now these are just some essays I've written about Mathematica, but they are not a comprehensive tutorial. And I haven't coded Mathematica for actually 10 years. But but anyway, so I have quite a few articles about Mathematica. But anyway, yeah, if you are going to buy Mathematica, okay, Mathematica is bundled free if you buy a Raspberry Pi. I think it's still the case. Yeah, so if you want to buy it from my website. Just click the link, go to Amazon, and I make a few bucks. Like 2% or something. So yeah, I always wondered how they, when they pirate software, how they do it. Like, but I never looked into, and I have no idea how the entire mechanism works. How do you prevent people from, pirating, copying software? Yeah, I suppose. Okay, I suppose when the software is installed, it checks your MAC address or whatever your computer CPU, whatever identity, ID. Then it mixes that and it creates a key, something like that, and sends a key to the company. Then something like that. Yeah. So okay, so the comment died off. I still got 17 people. Now I've been talking for 1 hour and 10 minutes now. And today I haven't talked much. It's almost all rambling. So I'm going to quit. I want to quit because smoking. It doesn't do me. Smoking is my slow self-destruction. I want to smoke because for no reason other than the slow self-destruction. I have failed. My life is a my life is a failure. You can say that. Hey, thank you for coming by. Break the loop. We should do a meetup again. Sometimes. Bye. Yeah, I noticed. So I have a patron. So if you guys like my talk, go to Patreon and be my patron. Hey, Danielle Lang Noise, where you from? I forgot. Danielle, you wrote a lot of things. I'm sorry I didn't get to actually I didn't get to even read them, and you posted code to the Xah keys pull request. I haven't get time to read them. Well, because I've been doing videos, but I haven't got time to my emails has been piled up, so I'll get to it. Oh, Los Angeles. So you did that Xah keys. You I noticed you did a pull request that you are schizoid too. Okay, hey, high five, peace and prosper. So um so does that actually work? I mean, I haven't looked into. I mean, but that's a great thing though. Because that's one of the things I want to do to the Xah keys. Basically change the mechanism how it swaps keys. Um, yeah, so schizoid personality. That's interesting. So anyway, so I think are there guys you guys got questions? So I'm gonna smoke one more smoke. I'm gonna finish the pack and be done with it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you wrote a lot. I mean, so I'm gonna look into. I want to be sure though, because because it's gonna take me a lot of time to read the code, and also because that's a big thing. I don't want to just check it in. Like usually some other pull request, I just check it in, and because it's little code. But this one is a big thing because if I check it in, then it might break. Other people download, it doesn't work because there are many. You see, you might know or you may not know because when a lot of people use the package in different situations. So there's also input systems. Some Russian people they have to use Russian input systems. They have to constantly switch, and also in Emacs, you have input systems. So you want to be sure that it still works. Overall. My sleeping hours it changes all the time. I've been trying to tell people this is a hard thing, one of the hard things to convey to people. Like people get surprised, but literally it just like I don't have a schedule basically. Sometimes some period of weeks I sleep during the daytime, some during the nighttime. So it's like that. It's been like that all my life basically. So yeah. So literally so I can so basically if for example if you want to like sometimes I need to talk to people like schedule a meeting, meet people or something, maybe for an interview for example. Just I have to like, oh, I have a date, then I adjust to that date basically. But normally, if anyone wants to talk to me, just Twitter me or anything. Don't email though, like, but because my email is like all piled up, like I don't even want to read it. Twitter me like something instantaneous, and just write small, like one two sentences. That's the best to get answers because and that's typically the strategy for getting other people's attention as well. Just write something small so they can respond right away. Then you maybe try to talk more. Then if you like I mean in general, if you write a whole blob, especially like like me for example, I want to carefully reply. Look at the whole thing and reply. But just the prospect of oh, this is a big reply, then then I start to like delay, then then it doesn't get read, it doesn't get replied at all. A lot of people are like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so so I'll check it out sometimes. Let's say this week sometimes. Because I also need to write code for I need to do this Python thing for a professor. It should be easy, but I haven't been coding Python for a while by the way, hi, if you are watching. So I think that's it. I feel like I want to go on talking. So there's 15 people watching, but people are keeping quiet. Uh, so is that? I think that's it. Let's smoke the final smoke, the last cigarette, the last meal. When you say these kind of things, you kind of have to be jokey because otherwise it's no good. Otherwise people get alarmed. Yeah, don't worry about that. I have lots of things. I want to talk about. Lots of things about the world. About you know the thing about video is that like there are. I mean, there are 7 billions of people, right? I mean, there are 7 billions of people, and most people, I mean, if they are really different. There's so many different people. They have different lives. They have different lifestyles, and you don't know them. Like you can only. I mean, normally, I think there's a study. On average, each person you can make meaningful friends at most. I forgot what's the figure, like 50 or 100. Like maybe 50. That's the most you can make meaningful friends. But anyway, so I mean, so I tend to think a lot. So all these people, billions of people, and their lifestyles. There's so many lifestyles. Living, and also, there are party people. Some people like they, especially I can imagine if you watch movies. Sometimes you watch movies, you can imagine there's some party kind of people. I mean, they are not. A lot. Most people are not programmers, right? I mean, so I'm a programmer. I'm a nerd, and so are most of you, I suppose. So our life is mostly limited to the programmer, yuppie life. I don't know if that's still a word today. In the office, and programmers, yeah, some programmers they do party, they go to parties and stuff. But most of us are not, I guess. We interest in math or whatever, science and technology. But this outside there's all sort of people. Especially like if you watch movies, you see all sort of people. Um, so what is my point? I mean, well, I don't have a point except it's just something I think about. And many people are interesting. Yeah. Anyway, that's incoherence. So I smoke this cigarette, and that'll be it for today. Programming are normies now. Yeah, I kind of, I don't like. I don't like that. Yeah, yeah. Just because normies, like, yeah, I remember in the 19, I mean, like 2010, maybe around 2010, they start to have these bro coders. What do they call it? Uh, like I mean, they are not nerds, right? I mean, they do their stuff. They of course they don't know programming well. They don't do programming well. I mean, and I read recently on some article programmers, yeah, programmers. I mean, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just different. It's different culture. It's different people. It's like different people invading your space. Not well. I mean, not in any. I like these days. In a social justice situation, you kind of have to explain because if you don't explain, oh, you are a racist. Those fuckheads. So anyway, programmers, yeah, I don't like them because they are different personality. I feel comfortable when other people are nerds. because they understand me. I go, like let's say I meet people, we talk, and I don't have normal things to talk about. Like all my life, when I talk to people, I can only talk about science and technology and math or philosophy or linguistics, academic subjects. I don't have anything else to talk about. I don't, as they say, I don't have a life. And also with me is that I'm a schizoid, and also, so if I go to a bar, most people, like when you see TV shows, they guys have their, whatever guys' night or whatever. They go to a bar and guys enjoy each other. I don't enjoy that. If I go to a bar, the number of times I go to a bar is like maybe once every 10 years. I go to a bar, I get very nervous. It's like all tight. I get extremely nervous. I cannot talk. I cannot function. I know to most people, and even a lot of you, I know it's like strange, but that's the situation. I can relax. I can. Sometimes I can. Um, oh, it's just a bar. You go there, people have fun, so I go there. But that's not just. It's not natural to me. So I go there. For example, there are bars right here, right? So I go there. I'm like a robot. I became a robot. What do I say there? What do I talk there? I want to talk about math. I want to talk about philosophy. That's what I enjoy. Like right now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying talking about Star Trek, about science fiction, about philosophy of it. Analysis and all that, mathematics. I go to a bar. What I don't. I cannot. They talk about jokes. I don't find it funny. You know, whatever their jokes, it's not funny to me. And my jokes, they don't understand. Like programming like Mr. Data jokes. So that's so yeah, programmers. Then today they got, well, they got let's not talk about that. Frameworks got more powerful. Yeah. So yeah, so today, you look at today's programmers. Yeah, you can see online. I talk to people. You talk to them, they don't know programming. I mean, what they doing? The JavaScript, 10 lines of code is a library, especially JavaScript, the JavaScript ecosystem. Because why? Because the JavaScript, it's a kind of new language. It became popular around, let's say, 2008. So the people who program JavaScript are mostly young people. Let's say the millennials. I mean, that's a fitting, actually that fits the period. So the people who are in JavaScript fields are typically millennials, and the millennials, as they don't know things. They are pretty ignorant, and so in JavaScript, the people, they like 10 lines is a library, and they have their ecosystem, they have their stuff. It's like, and they don't know. I mean, not. I mean, a lot of them. Okay. I mean, well, like today, every programmer become more popular, and you got more people, and that's a natural situation. But of course, there are a lot great JavaScript programmers. It's a lot of them great JavaScript programmers. Yeah, and frameworks. For me, actually, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not very good. I'm not. I don't. I cannot code JavaScript like most these people do. Although technically, supposedly, it's easier, but the way I code JavaScript is like it's like back in 1999. I don't use frameworks. I don't like frameworks. Well, that's partly, it's not, okay, part of the reason is because I'm the old generation. I'm getting old. That is actually true. My ability to learn things, my ability to learn new things, my ability to absorb things is actually slower than when I was younger. It does happen. So the new technology, I'm less capable. I'm less able to like absorb it and just use it. That is actually true. But on the other hand, but that's not a total reason. So the other part of reason is is that I still hold, you want to be a programmer, you learn the fundamentals, you learn the algorithm, you know mathematics. I mean, you know like today's programmer, they talk about machine learning, like, oh yeah, they know machine learning. They don't know shit. They don't even know calculus. They don't know algebra. They don't know group theory. They don't know the basics. But they are glib, and they talk about machine learning, oh this and that. Oh, you just use this library. Oh, Google Tensor. Oh, but actually, they don't know shit. And this is scientifically true in the sense that if the world crumbles down, I can, for example, I can write a framework. I can write React. I can, you give me time, I can write React from scratch. I can write jQuery from scratch. Okay, you ask me to build an app, iPhone or whatever. I don't know how to. You know, I'm not familiar. I cannot do that. They can do that. But you know, but if you seal me in a room, I can create a React, I can create D3.js from scratch. I can do that. They cannot, because they don't know the fundamentals. So that's what I mean, that they don't know things actually. I mean, when you actually just let's say you put 100 millennials in a room, secluded. You ask them to build a project. No libraries, no framework, no nothing, no internet. You put them together. After a year, see what they create. On the other hand, you put a bunch of, let's say, older generation programmers. You put 100 of them, like 100 millennials in one room, 100 older generation programmers. Let's say those from those know C or Python or Perl, okay, or Lisp. You put them in one room. After a year, I would say, I would say it's likely, the older generation, the C Lisp guys, they create things. The millennial people, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're gonna do much. So anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming by. Yeah, that's it. And so many people coming by today. Great. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.